going to begin with the panel discussion, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, we're going to talk about something that's very crucial, putting stakeholder capitalism into practice. As I mentioned, it's going to be a power-packed panel that will talk about the essential business principle that has come to core in the recent years. So let's get all these speakers to share their nuggets of insights with all of us.
A very good evening to all of you. It's indeed my pleasure to steer such a power-packed panel and so diverse, from healthcare to information technology, people with almost 3.5, 4 decades of experience, legends like Mr. Korakiwala in the panel. So I would throw the floor open by starting with our senior-most panelist, Mr. Korakiwala.
Stakeholder capitalism, you encompass everything that impacts the organization, all the stakeholders, not your shareholders, but everything. I think the most priority of all stakeholders, in my opinion, are your employees. They are I think the topmost of all priorities amongst all the stakeholders. And especially in this pandemic, what we have experienced is how you have responded to the various things that have happened in the organization, including deaths, including COVID kind of issues and families being broken down, and how organization has responded to it.
When I was asked to be a part of the panel, that's the first time, very honestly, I heard about this term called stakeholder capitalism, very honestly. But when I realized what, I read about it, and I realized that as a healthcare organization, that's an inherent quality of what we do anyways. Looking after the employees, as Sir said, but the focus being on our customers or our patients is an inherent aspect of what we do anyways. And then trying to make an impact on society or the community.
For us, it's pretty simple. We are a power guzzling service industry because we run a data center. So I think for us, it's very simple in terms of our objectives. It is people, and since we are in service industry, it is people. And since we guzzle power, planet becomes important. On the planet side, we have a very big responsibility of actually guzzling much less power than what we are doing. So we do quite a lot of initiatives, and we are now committed to actually going carbon neutral in about 7 years time frame.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, so that's a commitment that we've globally
Data center to go carbon neutral is, I think, one of the pinnacles of achievement.
Yeah.
As a company, what our belief has been is, and we strongly believe that as a purpose, is enriching lives through technology, because we are a product technology company. So primarily, how technology can integrate multiple facets of your life, which you are using in day-to-day stuff. And because we are catering to the BFSI, it's pretty much all of us sitting here, some kind of requirements we have. And what it has helped in pandemic is the digital technology.
Who had no shelter, who had no food to eat. Restaurants were closed, shops were closed. People didn't know what to do. People were getting impacted. And I think what we've tried to do, we reached out to various institutions across Mumbai, and for about nearly a year, we supplied rations to 1,680 children who stay in orphanages across Mumbai.
We at INCRED aim to play a meaningful role in the growth and evolution of the country's financial sector, and I'm very proud that I've been able to bring on board a group of like-minded business leaders to be a part of that journey. In a short span of time, we're very well regarded in the market for our risk focus, our tech architecture, the speed of our execution, as well as our product innovation. As a leader, I believe it is critical to combine the ability to think of the big picture strategically with a micro-level focus on the minutest details of the business. Both aspects are equally important for success, and in particular, the ability to switch from one to the other with ease on an almost continuous basis. My long-term vision for INCRED is to make a trusted partner for every aspect of an Indian family's and corporates' financial journey, whether it is to meet their borrowing requirements or to provide them with value-added saving and investment opportunities that will preserve and grow their capital.
I was asked to talk very briefly about agility, and I think it's always a toss-up between agility and ability, and I choose agility always. And with agility, a couple of things that I will always suggest in my humble opinion are never to sweat the small stuff. Please focus on the core, and swiftness along with agility will always help when you're focusing on the core. Let's try and focus on what we can control rather than what we can't. And so again, agility clubbed with what we can control really has some great outcomes if the focus is there. And finally, my last suggestion would be we should try and integrate technology into everything that we do. And then again, the power of agility comes into being at a 2x space.
The pandemic has really created a permanent setback to the human race. While on one side, it has taught us a valuable lesson of how momentary this life is, and has put us in situations where some of us were not able to say the final goodbye to our near and dear ones. It has also taught us a real important lesson that the human race is more resilient than the virus. The industry leaders have actually come up with some beautiful innovations through this course of the pandemic in order to keep mankind functioning. We have been able to change the way we've been interacting with some of the common businesses that we are interfacing with. Be it the movies or banking, things have transformed with technology in the forefront.
Today's celebration is all about, influential leaders of New India. Ken Blanchard very famously said, the success of leadership is by influence, not by strength. Today's celebration of achievers is celebration of leaders who have made an impact in the sectors or companies that they operate in, had a phenomenal impact on the industry as a whole. Now, New India is very different from the old India. Old India, where I think license Raj regime, we must have heard about it. Most of the people who are the millennials, as we call it today, don't really understand the term license Raj.
From Iceland to Taiwan and from Germany to New Zealand, women leaders stepped up to show the world how to manage this once-in-a-100-year, life-changing event. The pandemic has revealed, more than any other event in the last, I would say, 100 years, that women have what it takes to cope. And that when the heat rises in politics and in business, they are the ones who truly find their way. What is it exactly that they do differently? First of all, they speak the truth. Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany, stood up early and calmly and told her countrymen and her countrywomen that this was a serious threat, that it would infect up to 70% of the world. Mark my words, that's what she said then. What most women in politics and business believed is that this is a very, very serious situation and it needs a totally different approach. It is not just out of the box, black swan, but it needs a total paradigm shift even to navigate it.
So firstly, I'm going to say it's very important to be a good person. People remember your actions more than they actually remember your words. So do not forget to show respect to everyone around you, whether it's your office boy or a work colleague. A lot of times success creates arrogance in people. And I think, it's best that we avoid this arrogance because it's totally unnecessary. Secondly, whatever point in your life cycle you are, it's important that you plan 5 years ahead or 10 years ahead. But when you do this, don't make the cardinal mistake of forgetting to set benchmarks for every 6 months Because if you have a destination to reach, it's important for you to know where you're going to stop, what route you're going to take. And so, focus on that a bit. Thirdly, innovate. Things are changing around you at such a rapid pace that you don't want to get left behind. So ideate, innovate, be a step ahead, and be the change that's happening around you. Also, no successful person has ever become successful just by, herself or himself. So as you're growing, it's important to have a good team. And it's also important to delegate, because the more you delegate, the more you trust people around you, the more time you will have to innovate and ideate, which is what, as a leader, your job needs to be. And finally, this is, what I keep telling a lot of people, that things don't come easy. So you've got to be patient, and there is no substitute for hard work. So you have to work hard day in, day out. We knew that for us to be able to bounce back and regrow the business whenever COVID goes away, I would need to ensure that the employees are comfortable where they were, and that the borrowers were in good shape as well. Because at the end of the day, one of the pillars of the business that I've built is financial inclusion. So we wanted to ensure that we did everything that we could to help these borrowers keep their businesses going and a growing concern. So having taken care of our borrowers and having taken care of the employees, hopefully, if there is no third wave, we are now ready to hit the ground running onwards and upwards to growth in our company.